Hello everyone, and welcome to today's demonstration on setting up overlays through Stream Elements. My name is Discord Webhouse. To begin with, we will be navigating over to Stream Elements. I already have my web browser up, so bear with me as we jump over to a full screen view. When you first navigate to Stream Elements, you'll probably be greeted with the following selection here. Now, these steps will work for Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Trovo. Right now, we're just going to focus on Twitch. I'm going to be connecting with my Twitch account. You'll probably come to your dashboard page. Here you can actually adjust any of your stream information, but that is not what we're here for today. So on the left-hand side of the page, under the Stream Elements banner, you will have Data and Reports, Streaming Tools, Revenue, Chatbot, Loyalty, and Other. We want to open the drop-down menu, Streaming Tools. From here, we're given a further selection of Elements, Overlays, and Overlays Gallery. From there, we are going to click on Overlays. This will bring you to My Overlays page. For this demonstration, we're going to ignore the overlays that I already have pre-assembled here, and we're going to go into the top right of the page, start a new overlay. This will create a fresh tab, don't worry, your previous progress will be saved. Here we get to select our overlay resolution. We're going to leave it at 1080p for Twitch streaming. If you were more interested in things like YouTube Shorts or TikTok videos, you can adjust your resolution in through the drop-down menu. For this demonstration, we're going to leave it at its default setting of 1080p. So this is our blank overlay canvas. Up in the left-hand side, we have unnamed overlay. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to call this overlay alerts. From here, we are going to go down to the blue plus icon. What we want to do first is we're going to import an image. This will bring up a small box. We want to stretch this to fit the entire canvas. From here, we're going to click Set Image on the left-hand drop bar. This will open a secondary pop-out window. If you are new to Stream Elements, you won't have anything pre-populated here. What you'll do in that case is click the Upload in the top right hand corner, and from here you can drag and drop any image source. Supported formats are PNG, GIF, JPEG, JPG, MP3, AAC, WAV, OGG, and WebM. For this demonstration, I'm going to import in my Just Chatting overlay. So I've drag and dropped that from my desktop folder onto the canvas. I'm going to click Upload. From here, it'll be able to be selected under your images. Click Select it and click Submit. We now have our image file for what our overlay looks like. We're just using this as a visual guideline to help us position our alerts. So from here, what we're going to do now that we have our image file loaded onto our overlay canvas, we're going to select Position, Size, and Style. We want to drag the opacity to 50%. After we've set the opacity of the overlay to 50%, we're going to go back up on the left-hand side and click Layers. Here we'll see a new layer called Image 1. I'm going to call this our guide. Now, what we're going to do with our guide is we're going to toggle the visibility off. Now, as you can tell, that got even harder to see. What this also does is it stops this guide from being visible in any of the browser source overlays that we create from this point on, allowing us to use it as a visual guide. From this point, we're now ready to start adding our alerts. The first alert we are going to add will be a new follower alert. So we're going to go into the blue plus down in the bottom left-hand corner. Yet again, now we're going to come all the way up to the top of the menu. Here we'll select alerts, and we want alert box, which will be, again, the top choice. This is centralized widget for subscribers, followers, tips, hosts and cheers. We're going to select this one. Now, it's probably harder to see right now, but what this has done is brought up yet another layer. Now, this layer can be moved anywhere on your canvas, and it will have a blue border. As we said, we wanted to deal with a follower alert first. We're going to untick everything in this selection except for the follower alert. We are then going to click on the cog icon. This will allow us to edit our alert. From here, we can adjust everything about our follower alert. Setting the image or video will change the visual effect of the alert. Down below that, we have the ability to upload sound or clear the sound. We are also able to control the volume of the video, should you upload video, and volume of the sound file that has been attached to the alert. These selections work much in the same way as adding the guide background that we did earlier. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using Mr. Meeseeks as our follower alert. I would then change the sound file to go with Mr. Meeseeks. Here in the menu, I've highlighted the Mr. Meeseeks sound file. I have the ability to test it beforehand to ensure that it is the correct file. You can do this by clicking the play icon in the middle.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
Yep, that is the sound file I want. From here, we now have a number of image options. This selects the layout, whether you want the text over the image, text alongside the image, or text below the image. The alert message has the variable name, so it'll read out the name of whoever is following, and you can modify the message however you like. The default message is so-and-so is now following. We'll leave the message as it is for now. If we look below these settings, we have 4 more drop-down menus to go through. What we want is the second drop-down menu for TTS settings. This will allow us to adjust the settings to enable text-to-speech for our alerts. This will help anyone that has visual impairment or trouble seeing, or for those that are just listening in on your stream. They'll be able to know what's happened. So we're going to click the checkbox up in the top left to enable text-to-speech. We're going to leave our volume settings at default here. 75 is a pretty decent setting here. Selecting your TTS voice, this is up to user preference, but the TTS Brian is a pretty well recognized and cherished voice. From here, what we can do is we can drop down the menus and close the settings. Go back to our layers page. Now, in order for all of those settings to be locked in and take effect, we have to click the save button in the top right hand corner of the page. Once you have saved, you'll be able to test your alert. The way we can test our alerts through Steam Elements to ensure we have set them up just the way we want them is through the dockable menu bar here. On the left hand side, we want to click on Emulate. This will bring up a secondary menu with all of the alerts that we can test. Since we set up a follower alert, we want to test the follower alert.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
Leslie is now following.
That looks like that worked. And now we can drag that box wherever we want on the canvas to adjust for our personal layout. And now that we've confirmed that our follower alert works, we can rename alert box 2 to follower alert. Adding different style alerts works much in the same way. You'll open up the blue plus button in the bottom left, go up to your alerts box. This time we will do a cheer alert. So we want to untick everything except for the cheer alert. This has opened a second alert box to drag onto our canvas here. Default, we'll put it up in the top left and they'll play over each other. As you can see on the left hand menu, we have all of the same settings selections. For our cheer alert, we will leave everything default except we're going to click the checkbox for show cheer messages. This will allow your viewers to write personalized messages when they cheer for you. And then we're going to go into our text-to-speech settings. This is the second drop-down menu under the default settings menu. And we're going to enable text-to-speech and announce the action. And this will make sure that it reads out not only the cheer alert, but the viewer message for you. That way, if you're stuck in a game or in the middle of something that's really got your attention, you'll at least be able to hear what your viewer has sent to you. So you don't have to panic and try and tab over to your chat. Again, now that we have our cheer settings in place, we want to click Save. We'll go back to layers. We want to rename alert box 3 to cheer, and we can test the cheer alert in the same way. We will emulate a cheer event.
Teddy cheered X17, my name is Bill.
There we go. So we would go through and continue to add different alerts for the style of alerts that you would like on your personal stream, be it cheers, tips, subscriber alerts, raids. Hosts is no longer a thing, but Stream Elements has not updated to that yet, so I would not worry about setting up host alerts. The next thing we are going to do is we're going to go and add our viewers chat to our stream overlay here. So what we're going to do that is ensure that we've saved our alerts overlay. We want to click on the back to overlays button, which is right next to our overlay name in the top left-hand corner. This will take us back to our My Overlays page, and our first overlay will be visible. If you have multiple overlays, it'll be the top left overlay. So now we have alerts, but now we want to make our stream chat visible on stream so everyone can read along and see what everyone is talking about. For this, we will create a new overlay. Much like our last one, we will leave it at 1080p. First thing we are going to do is we're going to click the blue plus button, and we're going to go back up to our static and custom and re-add our guide image. We're going to stretch that over our canvas back into position. Go back into our position and size settings, just like last time. Drop it to 50%, center the widget, go back to layers, rename image 1 as guide, and toggle our visibility off. This way, we just know where we want our chat. In the last few steps, we put our alerts off to the left-hand side here. So we want to put chat on the right so they don't overlap each other. The way we're going to do this is we're going to go and add a new widget. This time it's going to be under Stream Tools. Your stream's chat is going to be the only option. We're going to click on that. And this is going to give you a small little text box. We're going to go into custom settings in the top left. This will remove the background, but it'll allow us to set the background color however we want. The next option we have is the ability to show your messages permanently. This, I would say, is up to personal preference. My stream, I have this disabled. So my messages fade after about 30 seconds. I feel that was enough time for my viewers to be able to read through messages without things cluttering up the screen for too long. I turn my message delay all the way off. That way they feel like they're able to be active and engaging in real time. The next setting underneath the message delay slider is the ability to change our background color. Again, this is all up to user preference. I'll move myself out of the way here for better visibility. The text background color I tend to leave up to personal preference, as everyone else's stream layout is unique. Personally, I put mine to black, but I dropped the opacity. There we go. So we want our chat window to be that big. The next settings is entering usernames to ignore. By default, Stream Elements is already entered, but this option is for if you have any other chatbots or automated messages through chatbots in your chat that you don't want just cluttering up the visual stream feed, you can add them to the ignore list and their messages won't be displayed in this chat box. So now that we have the chat box window styled, sized, and placed where we want it, I'm going to send a test message. Test. As you can see, the default size for the text is really quite small. To adjust that, we'll click text settings down in the bottom left-hand corner. This will allow us to set custom fonts. I'm going to put my favorite, Tradewinds. You can also set your text color. That way the font pops out on your background. So we'll send another test to see how that looks now. We have tiny green text. And then to adjust the font size, we have this menu here. There we go. I'm going to leave mine at 35. And let's see how that, another test message. There we go. And like our other alerts, we're going to click save. We're going to name this just stream chat. From here, we can go back to the My Overlays page. From this page, you'll be able to click on the selection menu for either of the overlays we've just made, and you'll be able to copy their URL to add them as a browser source to OBS. So now that we've got a basic set of follow and cheer alerts, and we're also displaying our stream's chat now, the next thing we may want to consider displaying is our latest follower. So we're going to click New Overlay. We're going to leave our resolution at 1080p, and like our previous two steps, we are going to import our guide image and resize it to fit our canvas. We're then going to fade that to the background, and that gets us set up to now display our latest follower. It's always nice tuning into someone else's stream. You click follow, and all of a sudden your name is proudly displayed on their stream until someone else comes and takes the next spot. But it's your own little moment of their spotlight, so it's always fun to reward your viewers like that. To do this, we're going to add a new widget. What we're going to add this time though is a label. Here we have another selection of menus for subscribers, followers, bits, tips, hosts, raids, and other. What we're going to focus on right now is followers. In followers, we have another menu. We have latest, total on all time, and goals. So you can display your latest follower or a string of your recent followers. We're going to go with recent followers. Hard to tell, but that has put a new layer up in the top left corner of our canvas. Oh, and look at that. It's already displaying some of you awesome people. Here in our settings, we have template name, visible items. We can adjust this to display between 2 and 25 names. You can set your alignment through horizontal or vertical. We're going to keep ours default horizontal. Text settings is the second drop-down menu, and it's the one we want to focus on. Through here, we can change our font to our preferred. For me, I'm going to go Tradewinds as usual. I want my followers to really pop out here. So again, I'm going to go with a nice, vibrant neon green. For font size, I want to display my followers nice and proudly. So I'm going to increase the size of the display box, and I want to set the font size for my followers list to 60. Again, this is all user preference at this point, but for this demonstration, I have decided to set mine to 60. Here you can set more of the font settings, whether you want your font to be bold, italics, underlined, cross through, your letter spacing. You can add drop shadow. 000 is black for your drop shadow. You can adjust how thick the drop shadow is by adjusting how many pixels it pops off of the font. It can really help add a little bit of contrast and really get them popping off the screen there. If you know your RGB codes, you can color your drop shadow. So you could do green font with a vibrant orange drop shadow to really get them popping. We're just going to go with a black one. Text scrolling is on by default if you are using the recent, which will list a selection of 25 of your most recent followers. Turning that off just turns it into a static list. The static list does have its uses if you want to add this sort of source to a stream ending screen and a big thank you to these most recent followers and or subscribers. You would follow these same steps for setting up a subscriber banner or anything like that. So once we have our marquee follower banner in position, we're gonna click save. We're gonna put this as recent follows. And what this will do by leaving recent follows as its own standalone browser source overlay will allow you to manipulate the positioning of all of these and fine-tune them within OBS, and will allow you to correct for any slight mistakes while live. So if your banner is not in the correct position, or if you need to move alerts for a specific game, by having them separated out in this way as separate overlays, it'll allow you freedom of movement. And this concludes our instructional demonstration on setting up stream overlays through Stream Elements.